BJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It is time for Hot Takes or Toast, the question of the day. PK, we have so many football questions. We're going to run out of football days for all our football questions.
Oh, I plan to be on Earth a lot longer, so we've got time to answer them.
Let's take a look at the game. UCF 5-6, BYU 10-1. BYU by a lot.
This would be the most soul-crushing loss.
There are people not over you asking that last week. Last week I thought it was spot on. This week I know when they play the game, anything can happen on any given Saturday. I just don't see it.
Oh, neither do I. But I thought it was more legitimate or more seeable last week.
100%. You're on the road, traveling 2 time zones, playing a good team that was desperate because they'd lost 2 in a row. I just thought BYU's strengths lined up well against Cincinnati, and that game played out almost exactly the way I thought it would. I think I picked 31-20. It was 26-14. I trusted Jay's defense to keep Cincinnati under wraps, and they did. Now this UCF game, UCF just seems overmatched. I mean, they're 5-6. They've got to fly all the way across country.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're not the better team. I'm looking at the way they've performed on the road this year. And as you might expect, the struggle has been real. They went to Kansas State and lost by a couple of touchdowns.
Yes.
They went to Cincinnati, lost 20-11. They went to Baylor and lost 30-3. They went to Texas Tech and lost 48-9. I'm having a hard time seeing why it is they're suddenly going to figure it out on the road.
They're not going to. The Baylor loss is the one that really screams out to me. The Cincinnati one wasn't bad. The first one you mentioned, and then Texas just annihilates just about everybody they play, obviously. And so with that in mind, Baylor has not been knocking the socks off of people, and for UCF to lose to that game, to that situation, that just isn't good.
I was looking at the defensive numbers, and I think Baylor, in terms of scoring defense, just in the Power 4 leagues, is like the 6th worst scoring defense, and they held UCF to 3 points. Tech held them to 9. Cincinnati to 11. Their big performance on the road is K-State 20. Again, I think the BYU defense is going to have a really good day, and I think the offense is going to open it up early enough that this is going to be pretty comfortable, and people aren't going to have to stay for 4 quarters. Although the challenge here is getting there on time. It's an early game.
11 a.m.?
11 a.m., yeah. Super early. ESPN 2.
Yeah, it's all right, though. That'll be fine. November, this late in the season, senior day, obviously.
You'll be out of there by 2:30 if you stay for the whole game.
Yeah, so you're going to have a family weekend, friend weekend, whatever you're doing there. So you get to the stadium, enjoy the game, and go have turkey leftovers. You got to have turkey leftovers.
I totally agree. Turkey leftovers are the best.
Yeah.
UCF is 5-6. We should also point out that they started 3-0 against a soft non-conference schedule. They are 2-6 in league play, and they played them all in a row. So they have lost 6 of the last 8 games, and they just beat Oklahoma State 17-14.
Yeah, barely beating Oklahoma State, which shockingly has turned into by far the worst program in the Big 12. And none of us would have seen that going into it, but at least they did win that game. And they do have a chance to get bowl eligible, but I wouldn't put it on them there. I think the one, if you want to look at it, was at home. I think the Houston loss by 3, maybe gives you some hope there that they might be able to put up a fight. And
Houston by 3 and Kansas by 7 are the two would make you think, well, maybe.
Yeah. But BYU is playing this group of guys together at an all-time high level confidence. And so they ought to
take them apart.
Yeah, it's set up for them to have a crowning achievement day, and they should celebrate going 11-1 and celebrating getting the opportunity to have the rematch against Texas Tech. All those things are worth celebrating. There's no doubt about it, and I've got no problem with them celebrating any of that stuff. Why not? This is what it's about. Celebrate the good times. And they've got good times. Now, I guess that's a song, but I didn't really mean it that way. Just came out.
Cool in the gang. All right.
Yeah, I didn't intend to say that. I intended to say it, obviously, but I did not intend to draw a song lyric from it. and do what you do there. And then you've got the rest of the day, and they talk about, okay, the rest of the day, and then it's over, and then you get down to business and preparation for what we expect will be Texas Tech the following week. And that's the starting time will be the exact same. I think it's 11 o'clock Central Time the following week, so you can be in that routine a little bit, and a widely, highly anticipated game to see what we got going. And for BYU, everything is there that you wanted in a football season ever. And you don't have to have somebody say, for now, right now. Maybe if you lose that game the following week,
right,
you need somebody to throw you a bone. But right now, you don't.
If you win the next two, you take care of business, you're in the tournament. If you don't sweep the next two games, then you need a break.
I don't think you do, but I get people do think that. Yeah, that'd be ridiculous to me, but what do I know? So we'll worry about that at that time. And the thing about it is your pattern of winning offensively, it's not the Ty Detmer throw 3 interceptions and 7 touchdown passes.
Nope.
And so nobody cares about the interceptions because you're chucking the ball all over the field all the time, and you win 54-28. That's not the formula for this program this year. It's to play that great defense, minimally be even in special teams. Maybe they can give you an advantage, but don't give you behind the chain, so to speak, special teams wise, which has happened a couple of times. And then play the sufficient, take care of the ball at all costs offense. And it may not be the sexiest way to win, but it's the way it's designed to win right now. And get the ball to L.J. Martin, let him do his thing. Ideally, what you would like, obviously, is to have a big lead and get him out of the ball game, and limit Bears carries.
Ideally, a big lead and get everybody out of the game. I totally see where you're going with this. That's a huge game with Texas Tech. You need all your guys. The fewer bumps and bruises, the fewer sprained ankles, the better off.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's they can't say that. But I think that's
the message has to be jump on them early.
Control the game. Now, I don't know that they're capable of jumping on people. Control the game.
They're not capable of jumping on a lot of people. I think they're capable of jumping on UCF at home. Well,
but they need these plotting type drives.
They tend to, yeah.
So I don't know that it can be 21-0. I don't know if there's enough time, unless you come up with a defensive score or short fields, to do that in the first quarter.
They're not completely big play challenged, but I get your point.
Right.
They can make big plays.
Just be comfortable after 1.
And they can get turnovers and then get short fields.
Be really comfortable after 2. Maybe play a series or 2 after 3, and then take their helmets and pads. I guess you probably couldn't do that in case you're sending a bad message, but ideally that's the objective. Get the younger dudes in there, get your stars out, your starters out, and get Jack Kelly, Glasker. We all know who the guys are. Get them out of there and just have a great time. And then you always know if they think they're going to win, because nobody wants a senior day, because they've had a few of these back in the old days, especially as an independent, where the game's at 8:30 and you're playing Idaho State or whatever, and you did it after the game. And then they go, well, wait a second, we don't want to do it after the game if we lose, so they do it before the game. So if they have the senior thing after the game, then that'll tell you they expect to win.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a little early, but the family and friends who want to be there to honor their youngsters will be there. If the game started at 8 a.m., they'd be there. Mom will be there at 7. Dad may be straggling a little bit, but darn well Mom will be there.
7:45. I was there in time. What are you looking for me for?
Mom will be there at 6:30. So this is just a great crowning achievement day. And for a program that I think I can say surprisingly has elevated itself to this level this quickly. To go 5-7, now granted Slovis got hurt. Probably if he stays healthy, you win 1 or 2 more games. But you go 5-7 in your first year, and then the next year you're winning 11 games in each of the next 2 seasons. I did not see that coming, man. And especially last year, you start a new quarterback. This year, you start a new quarterback. You start a freshman, no less, not somebody in the program. He doesn't get on campus until late. All that stuff goes on there, and you still don't miss a beat. You got to just say, bravo, job well done, because coaches take a ton of heat when things don't go right, and when things go right, they need to be praised.
I agree, but they're still taking heat from the crazies out there.
That's very. But see, that's your social media stuff, to where you read a couple of things. That's the world in which we live. The anonymous social media dude or dudette is always going to be out there. I don't consider that legitimate.
They still take heat.
But you're not taking heat from the people who matter. Who cares? No, the people who matter, the Brian Santiagos of the world, aren't giving these guys heat.
They know 10-1's a good thing.
Yes. So you're never going to have a universal whatever.
They've won. What is the record now?
No, you shouldn't.
What is the record now?
What do you mean? They're 10-1?
But over 2 years.
They were 11-2, and they're 10-1 right now. And we expect them to go 11-1.
21-3.
Yeah. Right, but that doesn't. That's like put a sign at the end of the court. End racism. We solved it. No problem. It's done now. Not in today's world. You're always going to have idiots.
So right now, the only idiots are anonymous fools on social media and the College Football Playoff Committee.
Well, they haven't made a final ruling.
They have not.
And no one's bagging on BYU on the college. No,
just not giving them their flowers.
It is a slanted, biased system to begin with. That has nothing to do with the Cougars.
The game is rigged when it comes to the playoff. The SEC wants their 5 bids, and they're going to get them. Well, they want 6 or 7.
And maybe over the long term, it'll sting in the short term, but maybe over the long term, that'll actually help it.
How so?
Because you're saying, wait a second here, you're not going to invite BYU, and they go 11-2, 2 seasons in a row, and you invited SMU. Because you say the thing is rigged, and you always go to the SEC, but SMU's not in the SEC.
Fact.
So they got in.
They did.
And so I don't know why you're totally eliminating it. You're overlooking.
Well, I think the reason with SMU is because there's 2 reasons that it always goes to SMU. One is that this BYU season is playing out a lot like the SMU season a year ago. And also a year ago, BYU won at SMU.
Okay.
So I think those are 2 reasons that I, along with a lot of other people, but I'll own it because I'm doing it, I'm defaulting to SMU over and over.
And how so?
Because I've brought up SMU a million times. I did just bring up the SEC here. It's rigged in favor of the SEC. But SMU got a break that I think BYU isn't going to get, if you consider that
Why
a break.
not?
They got a large bid.
Oh, I think it's a break.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
Well, break means maybe they didn't earn it.
No. Okay, fine. I'm fine either way.
Maybe the debate shouldn't have been BYU versus SMU. Maybe it should have been BYU SMU versus, I don't know, Tennessee. Or pick somebody else who got in at large last year. There's always a presumption, well, it's the ACC versus the Big 12, because of course the Big 10 and the SEC are in.
Understood.
And
I'll go with that.
Earlier this week, we had on Shahan Jayaraja, who, when I asked him about, the hypothetical matchups, because we're never going to see them, even if BYU gets in, they're not going to play Alabama. What would BYU Alabama look like? And he went right to, Alabama doesn't run the ball well. And BYU defends the run well. So Alabama probably didn't run the ball, and now they're one-dimensional and thrown into the BYU defense. That could be a real problem.
Okay, I still don't understand why you think SMU would get the so-called break that BYU wouldn't get. I don't understand that.
Well, because BYU's spent so much of the season below the line, and SMU spent so much of the season above the line last year. SMU was in the field week after week after week. And I just don't know that BYU... They haven't been seen that way all year long, and whatever happens in the conference title game could sink them.
It also could propel them without winning.
I just don't see that. And it's a beauty pageant, so I can't tell you you're absolutely wrong because they can do whatever they want. I just don't see them doing that. I don't see 11-2 BYU getting in. I think BYU needs to be 12-1 to get in. I think the penalty for losing, they will be heavily penalized, and they'll take care of Miami or Alabama.
Not if they play
else.
well. Not if they give Texas Tech a game and it's 5 minutes to go. No, I believe in the integrity of people who I don't know have any integrity. But I'm going to assume
You're
they
going
do.
to assume that even though you don't know these people.
Correct.
Well, with one exception, Mark Harlan. He's on the committee now.
And I'm going to assume he has integrity. And I can take shots at the guy all you want.
Well, I think that the national discussion would be having integrity would mean sticking it to BYU and sticking it to your conference, because I think the reason they have an AD on from every conference is because they know everyone assumes, well, they're going to pull for their conference.
And I think he will.
There's literally payouts involved, so I get why people think that.
He'll see the situation being what it is. It's not like, oh my gosh, our program's over here in the toilet and we can't let BYU continue to pull away. They haven't pulled away from Utah. Right now, we're back to where we were 12 years ago.
Fourth quarter lead changes, dramatic finishes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we've gotten past the independent era, is long gone, even though it's just briefly gone. But the complexion of the program changed. And so now these two are, in my mind, they're even. You have a 3-point ball game in somebody's stadium. Don't be running your mouth like you're the dominant program here. Come on. That's just not right. It's not true. It's not who they are. And so I think Harlan has got a job to do, and I believe he's, to quote Barry Switzer, he's going to do it, baby.
All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. More football on the day after Turkey Day. College football taking over. Although now we have pro football on Friday, too. College football taking over here for the next 48 hours. DJ and PK, we'll get to that next. Stay with us.